Hello, welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to be discussing a time, speed and distance question with you. This is a CAT 2007 actual CAT question of time, speed and distance, a difficult one. Let's read the question and see what this question is all about. The question says cities A and B are in different time zones. A is located 3000 kilometers east of B. The table below describes the schedule of an airline operating non-stop flights between A and B. All the times indicated are local and on the same day. Now, the first information that is given to me is A is located 3000 kilometers east of B. Now, just for the sake of convention, I'm making the conventional direction. So, if A is located 3000 kilometers to the east of B, I can represent it like this pictorially. And of course, the distance is 3000 kilometers, that is over there, right? Now, it says that the times indicated are local. So, whatever 8 a.m. and this 4 p.m. the departure, these are local timings of B and A, so they are independent of each other. Now it is given that assume that the plane cruises at the same speed in both the direction, so it goes from B to A and then A to B, obviously. However, the effective speed is influenced by a steady wind blowing from east to west. Wow, this is also an interesting question, idea. East to west at 50 kilometers per hour. What that means is that the direction of the flow of the current is from east to west, which is in this direction. Okay, so that means this is the direction of downstream and B to A is upstream. Okay, obviously this is a question of boats and streams now, and if you have realized, the question is just becoming a little difficult because of the different time zones. So first of all, let's assume or understand what the time zones are. If you realize, B departs from city B at 8 a.m. okay, reaches to A and comes back at city B at 8 p.m. Now realize 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. are the local timings of the city or the plane in city B itself. So this 8 p.m. it traveled, it went to A at some time, I don't know at this point, and from A to B again at 8 p.m. covering a total of 12 hours. Okay, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 12 hours. Okay, but there's an interesting thing over there if you have paid attention. B basically arrives at city A at 3 p.m. local time, and the departure basically the arrival time at city A is 3 p.m. but it does not simply just flies off at 3 p.m. itself. It flies off at 4 p.m. okay, that is, there is a halt, a clear case of a halt, and this is of 1 hour. That means the transit time of the airplane is not 12 hours but 12 minus 1, that is 11 hours. So I have got the total time of flight from one position, which is B to A and then A to B. So let's frame an equation of the boats and stream. So the equation that I can form is from B to A, it is, remember, from B to A it is down upstream. Okay, so this is going to be 3000 by B minus 50, and the other one is going to be 3000 by B plus 50. What is B minus 50? That is the 50 is the the speed of the flow or the speed of the wind that is blowing, and B of course is the speed of the airplane. This is equals to 11 hours. This is something that we just now inferred. Now beyond this, it is just calculating for B. Obviously there is a quadratic equation that we can form and solve it. I would much rather you solve it like this. If you split 11 into two integral numbers, close enough numbers, what I can find is that I can split them into 6 and 5. Going by the nature of the fraction, you realize that B plus 50 is a, let's say the denominator of B plus 50 is more, so the fraction in terms has to be less. So what I will do is that I will try to substitute B plus 50 is equals to 6 over there. If I substitute this as 6, this becomes 500. Now obviously 500 plus something is not going to be 11, which obviously you would realize that this B plus 50 will have to be 500, in which case this has to be 6 and the balance is going to be 600, and obviously if B minus 50 is 600, then the entire thing is going to be 5. So this is 5 hours and this is 6 hours. Okay, so just try to understand these two as separate entities. That will make your life much more easier in terms of calculating. Otherwise you can calculate it using the quadratic equation also. Now at this time, because you know, one of the equations, if you just pay attention, this is the downstream space and this is the upstream space. Okay, the downstream phase is taking 6 hours, however the upstream phase is taking 5 hours. That should immediately tell you that because it is aided by the wind, it cannot be 6 hours, so it has to be 5 hours and it has to be 6 hours, and the numbers will be just reverse, 600 and 500. So what I'm trying to tell you is that while you are making, let's say, intelligent guesses, you should also keep your eye open to see for nuances. Okay, because obviously downstream you cannot have you'll obviously be taking less hour to, you know, go in the downstream, right? Now obviously now this everything is balanced. Now we can calculate, we can take any of the expression and we can calculate the value. So if you see this one, I'm taking b plus 50 is equal to 600, that straight away gives me b is equal to 550 kilometers per hour. This is actually one of the answers in the second part of the question. The first part of the question, however, asks me what is the time difference between A and B. Now, how do I know that? Let's see. If you realize from 8 AM, the B to A journey is the upstream journey, which is this one. B to A, if you realize, wind is traveling from east to west. So from B to A, it takes a total of 6 hours. Okay. Now, from 8 AM to 6 hours, it is going to be 2 PM. Okay, so that means if I am allowed to write it over there, it is 2 PM. 2 PM, that is the local time of B. B's local time. And this, you know, the data over there gives you the arrival time is 3 PM for A's local time. What does that tell you? Between 2 PM and 3 PM, the difference is obviously 1 hour. So the time difference between A and B is going to be 1 hour itself, and that is the answer to this question. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know the drill. You can like the video, you can subscribe and all that.